Guys, that was such a surprise. I expected good things, and the trailer that made the game look absolutely amazing, and I must admit, the game wasn't what I expected. It was very, very different. It was, I don't know how to explain it. It was much more old school, but stylized. So very stylized. Like, there are points. It feels like something totally new, and I really do hope they develop a franchise out of this. And here you can see how few people did actually work on a game that is about 50 hours long for me, I believe. Maybe like 47, 50. Yeah, a very long game, a very big game, a very great game with an awesome story, in my opinion. With the setbacks, obviously, of a AA environment, but brimming with personality, heart, and ambition. It was amazing. I can't believe how much I loved this game. When I cliffhangered myself last night, I was just like, oh man, just want to find out what happens. What's Constantine doing? What are you doing? Kind of thing. It was really good. And when I wasn't playing this game, I was thinking about playing this game. It was fantastic and one of my sleeper hits of the year. Genuinely, out of the new games I've played this year, which admittedly isn't very many, and I'm sure if I played Kingdom Hearts 3, Kingdom Hearts 3 would absolutely be my favorite, because Kingdom Hearts 3 is... Kingdom Hearts is my favorite series of all time. But yeah, if I played stuff like that, maybe, I don't know, Resident Evil Remake, which I didn't, that would be my game of the year. But right now, this is a real contender. Thinking about it, I've played very few new games this year, but right now, I believe it's up there. It's been really, really amazing. So let's get... I don't know why the credits music is really, really lackluster. And the thing is I want to talk about the music here, because the music is utterly stunning in this game. And the places have their particular themes, some more notable than others. I think Hikmet has one of the best scores in the game. It's so unique, it's so awesome, it's so epic. But it's not just the epic sort of baroque sounding music either that's so great. There are just atmospheric moments, some of the ambience in the game, the cricket noises in the native villages, the old style native sounding instruments like the panpipes or whatever the fuck they use. Unbelievably atmospheric. There are some times in the native villages, one in particular, it might be Doomcusses, it might be someone else, but the music there, the ambience there is, it's completely just enveloping. It's amazing. You feel like you're fucking there, even despite the game's flaws, like maybe outdated graphics to an extent, and, you know, the lip sync issues, and you could still be immersed. The lip sync issues didn't bother me after maybe like the first session. I was just so into it that I was like, oh fuck it, I don't care, you know. And then when this game is as you know, not high budget as it is, it's just sort of understandable, isn't it? I don't have a problem with it. I think it even, sorry, Kurt McClung, that's a brilliant name, but I just think it's sort of, charming in a way. It just adds charm, because it is rough as around the edges. It's rough as fuck around the edges. No, don't end the credits. I'm not done talking. How dare you? Well, if it takes us to the title screen, yeah, okay, I'll keep talking. I will just do a mini review here if you don't want to listen. You don't have to, but I'm very passionate about this game. I think it's amazing. I think AA experiences like this, especially amazing ones, need to come back, and I did go into this quite skeptical. I haven't played a Spiders game before, but I know they receive mid to above average reviews at best. And they're sold at quite high prices, which sort of puts people off. This one, however, completely justifies its price. Longer than a hell of a lot of AAA games, and if anything, and it's a lower price point than a lot of AAA games, and I had so much fun with it. So let's talk about those outdated graphics, because I don't think it matters. Graphics isn't a major deal with me. Obviously, I fucking love when graphics blow me away, but some things in this game did blow me away. It's the art direction, it's the presentation of Tear Freddy, and it's sometimes, in many cases, it's cities, and it's palaces. It's gorgeous in so many places, and yes, it suffers from a lot of repetition, sometimes even in the outside environments, but especially in the interiors. I'm going to turn this game down a little bit now, thank you. Yes. Yeah, it sort of suffers from interiors being the same, but I mean, it's understandable. They can't really map every interior ever. I just can't believe how good this game was, man. And it has provided me some amazing vistas that sort of made my jaw drop, you know? And the quest system. These detective-style investigation quests that dot the game. There was not a single fetch quest in this game besides, like, hey, set up camps, which isn't a fetch quest, and hey, look for these notes, which were totally optional and not necessary. But every quest, there was some really, really interesting quests, both main and side. In fact, I think a lot of the side quests trumped quite a few of the main quests, especially a particular one involving a certain doctor, which reveals a shitload about the in-game lore. Hell, one of the side quests revealed that you were actually born on the goddamn island. And it's like, wow, that's a major fucking plot device. And it was in a side quest. There's so much to discover in this damn game. More so than its main quest. It's huge and it's stunning and it's great. I really, really like Greedfall. And I can only hope that they make a sequel or even a franchise from it. I think it could work really well. And Spiders have finally established themselves as a damn good RPG studio, no matter how small. And Spiders, you've got a very, very avid fan in me now. I'm tempted to go back to their old works, but I'm also worried that it might put me off a bit, so I'm not going to do that, at least for now. We'll see. As you've probably noticed, when I do like mini reviews like this at the end, it's absolutely not scripted, and it is sort of right after I finish the game, so I haven't really had time to settle my thoughts and like be like, that wasn't, you know, it's excitement right now. This is what I'm feeling after finishing, which I guess is the best thing, because that's what you've experienced coming out of the game. Criticism that you find over won't necessarily matter if you've only just, you know, it's the experience that matters, not necessarily the technical prowess sometimes. So, I thought the factions were all very well done. I think they cover a lot of lore. They have a lot of lore behind them if you search and if you do all the side quests. And they all have their own motivations, their own cultures, their own, the politics, I guess, like, you know, they're warring with each other and all that kind of stuff. You couldn't particularly interact with the two big ones, like, Taleme and the Bridge Alliance, as much as I would like, and the congregation was sort of only Constantine. That was sort of the only thing that really happened. It was very hard to piss off the congregation. I didn't even know if you could, to be honest. But yes, Taleme and the Bridge Alliance, I feel like somehow you couldn't quite interact with the factions enough. You could do it maybe they're 2 side quests each. And I did, like I mentioned, I think in like a few episodes ago, it's quite hard if you're doing the side quests to have any faction hate you. There aren't really many big decisions where it's like, right, I'm gonna help these guys fight, and that's really gonna piss off these guys, but I agree with them morally, so I'm gonna do what's right. And then it didn't really sit like, yeah, maybe you'd lose like 2 rep points with the dudes you fought, but I just murdered like their entire army. Are they not gonna be more pissed off? I feel like a game with so much political intrigue and diplomacy. Like, you're a fucking diplomat. When has a game ever done that before? It's a really cool premise. But I mean, I'm sure it has done it before. Just I haven't played one. We'll put it that way. Not that I can remember anyway. I need to turn this fucking game down. Jesus Christ. So, yes, I do wish it was a little bit more fleshed out in the diplomacy systems. I would kind of like if maybe a faction hated me. Or I would have to then work really hard to make them like me again. I did get everyone to join us at the end, which felt really cool. It was great having your allies come together, but it felt like I didn't, you know, to make the faction like you again, you do maybe 2 side quests to them, and they're like, we welcome you, you're our best friend, we love you, hi. And it just feels a little bit weak. It feels like it should be more fleshed out. It feels like it should be quite easy for those factions to turn on you, especially with how treacherous they are. I did so many horrible things to the Bridge Alliance, and to Taleme especially, actually, yet they just loved me. Like, I fully sided with the natives, yet I was still able to make the Bridge Alliance completely friendly with me, and Taleme, and it was really strange, but, oh well. I thought the companions were pretty well fleshed out. Not BioWare levels, you can just talk to them after every mission and they give you your sort of, they give you their opinion and all that. It wasn't like that, but I thought they were all well voice acted for the most part. I think Afra had a few lines where she just was a bit flat and it was a bit strange.
This is one of our places of ritual, a place of connection. What do you hope to learn from our carvings?
I seek to understand the mechanisms of your transformations. I think these carvings could help with this.
There were some really good companion quests. I believe Siora's stands out, whereas Afra's doesn't. A great companion quest for me. I think Afra's quest would have been great as a side mission. Yes, we were helping her learn, and that was making her like us, but I think she would have been much better as a side mission and have her side quest actually develop her character a bit more. We know she's sciencey. Yes, I guess she sort of had a character of being like, I don't believe in native magic, to them being like, oh, maybe I believe in native magic. But, you know, I like my companion quest to flesh them out and do something really personal for them. And that could have just been a side quest, and I would have preferred that. Or maybe give her that as be the lead up to a big, like, oh man, I'm having an identity crisis. Magic is real or whatever. And then we're like, hey, Afra, shut up. Everything's fine. Magic's cool and science exists too. And then it's like, thanks, Desade, and all that. But I don't know. I'm turn that into a mission somehow. But instead, hers fell a bit flat. Siora's was great. Kurt's was great. Vasco's was great. But then I found myself not using him all that much. I think there should have been a big old focus on light armor, medium armor, and heavy armor. And having, this all stems from basically Vasco having no armor that looks good, or having to sacrifice armor that looks good purely for stats, or your companions are like wet tissue paper and they can just be rammed through immediately. You need them to have good stats, but then you also want them to look good, and I couldn't balance that with Vasco especially. Vasco, the Naught gear was just a bit gross. No, it wasn't. Sorry, the Naught gear looked really cool, but it just didn't have very good stats. So I had to give Vasco, I don't know, I gave him that brown brigandine, which didn't fit with him at all, and I had to give him a helmet, and I had to mix and match everyone's styles, and there just wasn't quite enough unique gear for each faction. Maybe that'll change in patches, I don't know. They have said that then this is the full package, and I don't think they'll be releasing DLC from what I remember. I'd be happy for a little DLC campaign, but I'd also be happy for Greedfall too, so we'll see. But yeah, I'll move on from that for now. I mean, you know, it's their first attempt at something like this as far as I can tell, or at least at something on this scale. I could be entirely wrong. Please feel free to correct me if you're a big Spiders fan, or Spiders knowledge boy. But yeah, I mean, I like the story a lot. I thought it was a bit rote at the end. I think it had quite an anticlimactic ending, which didn't make all that much sense. But then it was sort of wrapped up with Deconcilion being like, and then the guys did this, which was kind of cute, and that made me forget about it for a sec. But yeah, shanking Constantine and him just dying didn't make all that much sense. I mean, I guess we weakened him at those bondage points, but why? What? How did he just die? He's now a fucking Onol Malawi. Not only that, a Donegad. We watched fucking Tina the Cactus, or Mev, sorry, get shot in the fucking stomach, like twice, and she was fine. She got up and it was like, we heal way quicker, and then she was walking the next day. Hell, she walked a few seconds later. Like, why did that kill Constantine when he is supposedly the most powerful Donegad in the world? It just didn't make much sense. The final mission really did try to emulate Mass Effect 2 Suicide Mission, I believe. With all your crew coming with you and, you know, doing all that stuff, which I thought was really cool, but it didn't quite work because then you were just leaving behind your companion. I found it a really weird decision that I was stuck with Petrus. I'm sure they could have worked out a way to be like, these are your most used companions, these are companions that like you most, they'll stick with you either to the end and do the Constantine fight with you, which might not have worked with what they were going for, or at least stick with you to the end and like I could have had Siora be my last one and then we meet the natives at the end. But no, for some reason I had Petrus. I don't have anything against Petrus, I think he's really cool. He just wasn't exactly my favorite, and definitely not the one I use the most, so I thought it was really weird with that. But I did really like the story. There were a lot of times, it had a lot of false endings, which I thought was really cool. And each time it built upon said false ending, and it was like, even more things, you know, everything's great. And the twists were really good as well. It was clunky in that the game would spoil itself to you. You could go a bit beyond where you're meant to be, do some additional exploration, and you could talk to a character. I remember there was a native that spoiled to me that we were born from the island, or our mother was from the island, and I was like, well, what the fuck? We didn't learn that yet. So yeah, the game has a tendency to spoil itself if you go a bit too far. I mean, I'm sure that could be easily patched, right? Just enabling those lines that you could ask about once you've done that story beat. It can't be that difficult to do that, right? But yeah, I enjoyed the story. It's not going to win any awards, but I thought it was really cool. And I know there's multiple endings. I think possibly quite a few more than we had. Obviously, there's the kill Constantine, join Constantine, but I think there's many, many, many more endings, and like how the world can end up and stuff like that. Witcher 3 style, you know? One thing I thought was utterly amazing was the progression system. Maybe not so much in combat. Combat was a bit weak, you know. I mean, it felt good at the end when I was just able to blast through things with like Storm and then Shadow Burst. That felt really good. But I fell out of combat quite a lot. I was running past all the animals out in the wild because I just was a bit bored with the combat, to be honest, especially when we're just fighting really weak things. The combat was never like, whoa, this is going to be great. It was sort of like, yeah, okay, this is going to be kind of cool. Or, oh god, I'm just going to run right through it, you know? Especially, I don't know if maybe it's different with melee or firearms or traps or whatever the hell, but I found magic to not really be that upgradable. We had some really cool things, but then it didn't really... There were maybe three? I think there were 4 total magic attacks in the game. You had Shadow Burst, you had the regular magic missile, you had the magic punch, you had your Q attack, which looked dumb and stupid, and it was like, that's our special, what the fuck? And they were basically the 4 offensive damage-dealing magic attacks. And that was it. I would love way more. I'd love classes of magic, like Flame. Just, you know, like, I don't know how a bigger RPG would do it. Like Skyrim, maybe that's difficult to do. It's a small dev team, and I gotta bear that in mind. But, like, I don't know. I feel like you could have done a little bit more with the magic. And then even with guns, when I finally got a gun, it was sort of just stand there and shoot. It felt impactful, but yeah, combat was a bit lackluster, but what I did really love was the progression system outside of combat, meaning your talents. And I also liked how all the traits allowed you to wear different kinds of equipment. I thought that was really cool. Not just that you're doing better with said equipment, but you couldn't even wear heavier armor if you didn't have endurance, or you couldn't wield a really powerful rifle if you didn't have the accuracy to back it up. Same with strength and weapons and agility and weapons and stuff like that. But what I really liked was vigor, charisma, intuition, science. Crafting was cool, which I only noticed at the end. I really liked the crafting system where you could sort of put attachments onto your armor and stuff and choose what you like, and both aesthetically and stats wise, really fun. But yeah, and what was the last one? Science, intuition, charisma, crafting, vigor. Can't remember the last one. But yeah, I thought it was really cool. I love how science, you know, it opened up so many different opportunities. Vigor with being able to climb up these walls to access different places and come at your missions in new ways by balancing on beams, jumping across platforms. Science allowing you to blow holes in walls and shit like that and then just sneak in that way. I don't know how you sneak once you've literally started an explosion, but it works. And what else? Charisma, obviously. Talk your way through. Intuition, talk your way through. And also be able to sneak through passages. I don't know how that comes into intuition, but whatever. I thought that was amazing. It opened up a lot of different playstyles depending on what you plugged your points into. And that is something that I found, I don't know, it felt really unique. It felt so damn unique. The amount of ways you could approach several missions was amazing, at least to begin with. Sometimes you'd notice that in the missions it would all lead to the same outcome anyway, which I didn't find that cool, but it was a really good foundation to build upon for future games. Well, I guess one last negative point are the game-breaking bugs. Okay, not game-breaking, immersion-breaking bugs, and fucking annoying bugs at that. For my most heinous example, well, my most heinous examples always come during combat. For example, when you're literally in the midst of firing at an enemy, they're right in your face, suddenly they'll lose you. You've nearly got them, like, on the ropes, they're nearly fucking dead. They'll somehow forget where you are and combat will end, and they will have fully healed, only to turn around and immediately see you again and start fighting, even if you were literally plugging attacks into their face as we speak. It didn't make any sense. We didn't heal, which made it even worse. But yeah, they just forget where you are, heal up, and immediately come and beat you up again. And it's like, they'll probably patch it. I hope they patch it, because it's dumb as fuck. But it really did annoy me at times. As well with when combat would start in locations that you then can't reach. For example, there were 2 big lizard enemies, I believe, on the platform below us who somehow saw me when I was still on the platform above. And when you start combat, you can't jump down platforms. So they were sort of just angry at me, and they were like, hey, we gonna kill you, or whatever. But I couldn't go and reach them, and I couldn't run away far enough because of how the area was laid out to break the combat, so I was stuck and I had to reload a save. Very, very annoying, not necessarily game-breaking, but the game is buggy. You will be getting an absolute ton of clunk with this game, but I can't recommend it enough. Overall, this game is my biggest surprise of the year by far. I can't believe how much fun I've had with it, and how invested I was in the story, and still am. I want more. Give me more Greedfall. And I don't know. I think that's where I'm going to leave it for now. I don't really number my reviews. I don't know what I would number this one. I feel like the number is sometimes kind of arbitrary. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Please do like, subscribe, comment, share, do all that amazing stuff. It really does help out both me and the channel. And I will love you forever and kiss you twice. Mwah, mwah. And I'll see you around in the channel. There's some amazing stuff going on right now. There's some amazing stuff that has already happened in the past, and some amazing stuff coming in the future, and I'm sure you will find something that is perfectly suited to you. That's a strike guarantee. Don't sue me if I'm wrong, except there will be something for you, because you've already watched this video, which means you like Greedfall, so just rewatch Greedfall. There you go. Can't sue me, Disney. You're not Disney. Mickey Mouse just sitting there listening to my review. Wouldn't that be adorable? Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you elsewhere. I'll see you in the next one, whatever we do next. Thank you guys so much for watching. Goodbye!